It was so heartwarming, just the fact that everyone came out and really squeezed into that, cozy court.
Alexandra Eala has given Cincinnati Open organizers something they may not have expected. Just 5 days after becoming the first Filipina to capture a WTA singles title, Eala arrives in Ohio with momentum, confidence, and a rapidly growing fanbase. Her championship run turned heads across the tennis world as she defeated top-level opponents and capped it off with a dominant third-set bagel over world number 4 Jessica Pegula.
It's Eala's magical moment. The moment she has dreamt of.
But now, reports surrounding Cincinnati's leaked order of play have sparked frustration among fans. According to those reports, Eala could be scheduled on a court that may not be able to accommodate the level of interest she is currently generating. The tournament has promoted her alongside some of the biggest names in tennis, yet the reported scheduling decision appears to tell a different story. That is why many fans are questioning whether the tournament has underestimated just how popular Eala has become. Only days ago, Eala completed a breakthrough week that changed the direction of her career. After weather delays pushed the Mubadala WTA Open final into Monday, she delivered a statement performance to claim the biggest title of her career, finishing the match with a stunning deciding set bagel. With little time to celebrate, Eala quickly packed her bags and traveled to Toronto. She arrived with a career-high ranking of number 20 and a level of attention she had never experienced before. Interest in her matches surged immediately, and fans showed up in huge numbers to watch her continue her rise. Now, as she prepares for Cincinnati, the excitement surrounding her continues to grow. If the reported schedule is accurate, organizers may soon discover that Eala is no longer just another player in the draw. She has become one of the most talked-about names in the tournament, and the demand to watch her play is only getting bigger.
She's playing again tomorrow night, the second match, so everybody come on out and support her.
Toronto originally placed Alex Eala on its grandstand court, which holds around 2,800 fans. On paper, that decision may have seemed reasonable for a player who was still outside the top 15. But then the tickets started moving, and they kept moving. By Tuesday morning, tournament officials reportedly realized they had a problem. Eala was drawing the kind of crowds normally expected for the biggest names in the sport. She was ranked around number 20, yet her ticket demand was quickly becoming one of the biggest stories of the tournament. Within 24 hours, she was moved to the much larger center court. That makes the situation in Cincinnati even more interesting. While Toronto adjusted after seeing Eala's demand firsthand, Cincinnati has reportedly placed her on a secondary show court for her opening match. That would be surprising for a player who has suddenly become one of the biggest attractions in women's tennis. And the numbers explain why. On August 3rd, Eala completed her breakthrough title run at the WTA Open, defeating Jessica Pegula in the final with a dominant 6-0 finish to the deciding set. The result was even more impressive considering the players she defeated along the way, including Zheng Qinwen, Leylah Fernandez, Elena Rybakina, Naomi Osaka, and Ekaterina Alexandrova. That is more than a Cinderella run. It is the kind of performance that changes a player's status almost overnight. Then came the commercial proof. The WTA Open saw enormous interest surrounding Eala, and the same reaction followed her to Canada. Tournament director Carl Hale confirmed that Eala's session was generating extraordinary ticket demand, eventually forcing organizers to move her from the smaller grandstand court to center court. The Wednesday night session she headlined also reportedly became a major sellout, with comparisons being made to the kind of demand usually generated by the biggest stars in women's tennis. For Filipino fans, none of this is exactly a surprise. They have been following Eala for years, traveling to tournaments, filling the stands, and turning her matches into something that feels like a home event. Now the rest of the tennis world is finally catching up. That is what makes Cincinnati's reported scheduling decision so difficult to understand. The tournament has already promoted Eala as a major Philippine trailblazer with an incredibly passionate fanbase. But if the reported order of play is accurate, her court assignment may not match the superstar treatment the tournament's own marketing suggests. Toronto saw the demand and reacted immediately. Cincinnati has had the opportunity to watch that entire story unfold in real time. So the question is simple. If Eala is already proving that she can fill bigger courts and attract massive crowds, why would Cincinnati risk putting her on a smaller stage? At this point, the numbers are doing the talking. Eala is no longer simply a promising young player entering another tournament. She has become a genuine attraction, and tournament organizers may need to start scheduling her accordingly. That is the clearest warning Cincinnati could have received. A rival tournament director publicly admitted that his venue was too small to handle the demand surrounding Alex Eala, a player Cincinnati is reportedly preparing to place on an outer court. The message to Bob Moran and the Cincinnati Scheduling Committee could not be clearer. They have already seen what happened in Toronto. There is no excuse for pretending they did not know the level of interest Eala is generating. And that is where this story becomes bigger than one court. Women's tennis is adjusting to a new reality. Eala has become a genuine Southeast Asian tennis star, and tournaments are now facing a completely different question. Should they schedule her based on her current ranking, or based on the crowds and attention she is already attracting? Her ranking may say number 20, but her ticket demand is telling a very different story. The U.S. Open begins on August 24th, and New York could become the biggest test yet of Eala's growing popularity. How Cincinnati handles her this week could influence how other tournaments approach her moving forward. Wuhan, Beijing, and the rest of the season will all be watching. If Cincinnati changes the court assignment and gives Eala the stage her demand deserves, it could become a blueprint for future tournaments. If they do not, the decision could become an example of what happens when rankings are treated as more important than real-time fan demand. And Eala's rise makes that conversation even more fascinating. Earlier this year at the Australian Open, Eala made her Grand Slam main draw debut. She won the opening set 6-0 against Alicia Parks before eventually losing the match in 3 sets. Her first Grand Slam experience ended in disappointment. Fast forward just 7 months, and everything has changed. After becoming the first Filipina to win a WTA singles title, Eala admitted that even she was still trying to process what had happened. The transformation has been remarkable. In January, she was a young player trying to establish herself on the biggest stage. By August, she was beating elite opposition and defeating a world number 4 in a WTA final. That is an incredible timeline. And this is why Cincinnati's reported scheduling decision is attracting so much attention. If Eala is placed on a smaller court, it would look like the tournament is scheduling the player she was months ago rather than the player she has become. The numbers tell the story. Roughly 2,800 seats in Toronto's original grandstand, ticket demand reportedly pushing beyond that capacity, a major Wednesday night crowd, and a breakthrough victory over one of the world's top players. Eala's ranking may still be catching up to her performances and popularity. Her audience already has. Now the question goes to the fans. If Cincinnati moves Eala to center court before her second-round match, is that vindication or damage control? And if they keep her on the side court, how far do you think she can go from there? Drop your prediction in the comments and put your Cincinnati bracket on the record. Then come back after the tournament and see who got it right. Because Alex Eala's rise is moving faster than the rankings, and tournaments may have to start moving just as quickly.